well, what is that here for? And like, don't you pay directly to the organization? You don't pay to a personal check to why? And they said he asked us for that, and I was like, okay. And I was like, I don't know what to do with that, you know. And I wasn't going to confront the boss because I didn't want to get in trouble, so I just like let it slide. But then when it came out, it turns out like every company was paying him under the table. And whatever. But and then it all came out. It came out like in a big landslide. It wasn't just like we like in 1 week or 1 month we found out that there was multiple problems. There was embezzlement across the board from like everything and worth millions of dollars. And then we found out like where did he go? Because he claimed to be going to these places to visit the companies, and the companies claimed he never showed up. Right? So like what was going on? And then like there was a suspicion that he was going to hotels and he was picking up he had girlfriends in various cities, and it was wild. It was wild times, and then he ended up in a rehab because he was on cocaine, and then it was just exciting. You never knew where he was going to be next.
So, I mean, the guy had a medical problem. We shouldn't morally judge him. I mean, right, he had a cocaine addiction. It's like a medical problem, like cancer, right?
And apparently, he snorted up all the millions of dollars that he had embezzled. And he ran out, and his wife divorced them because they were
funny that
bankrupt. Amazing. It was the guy who hired me, and I was like, you know what? It's time to get out of this business.
So, do you think we should just like ignore whether products are certified or not, and just like,
no,
check to make sure they don't have lard?
No. Without hashgacha, you're dead. I was in that business. So one thing I can say, right? As bad as everything, there are certain hashgachas that are reliable, and if they don't have that, I don't even want to know what it is. It's even with hashgacha, you know what I mean? It's like you don't want to get near something that doesn't have hashgacha, because companies, believe me, will put whatever they can into that thing if they're allowed to.
So which hashgachas would you say are reliable?
Oh, I've answered this before. Bar none, by far, the number one, the one that I swear by is the OU. That's it, hands down, the best. And because of that, they pay a price, and the guys working for them get into trouble. But as an organization on top of their hashgacha, they're by far the best. And you know why?
Why?
Because they built in a system of checks and balances. They have, if one person is incompetent or one person fails, it's not a single point of failure. There are so many eyes looking at everything. It's very, you know what I'm saying? So there's that. Also, it's an organization, and it's non-for-profit. That means they don't have an incentive to make money. And they do a very good job of not making money at the OU. They blow it out their ass, and they waste a lot of money, which is good. The problem is when a company, when it's a private company,
For-profit.
They're for-profit. They're motivated by profit. And what do you do for profit? You will do whatever it takes. You will cut corners, and that is a problem. Because I don't want somebody who's making money. I want somebody who's working for me, representing me, and is going to work for Hashem, Kadosh Baruch Hu, and push comes to shove, they will not take the money. They can walk away from it. They don't need the business. The OU is gigantic. They don't need it. If it's problematic, they don't want to get their hands dirty with it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a little tiny company, you can't afford to say no, and then you're like stuck in this huge quicksand. And that's why I say the OU by far is the best.
So you're not interested in developing your own mark for kashrut?
Remember the Mashgiach who exposed OU kosher violations. What OU kosher?
Don't worry, it's a specific case. We're not going to analyze a specific case.
Is it the one out in is it the Rabushkin case?
No, let's...
Alright.
So you don't want to start your own kashrut?
No, I don't want to have anything to do with it. First of all, you start up something and like the mafia comes and they put you out of business.
What about rating movies? Yeah, we could put our own certification on movies.
On porn flicks, how's that?
Has v'shalom. It's degrading, it's immoral, and the lighting is terrible.
You've probably seen more porn than anybody ever.
I've seen very little, and when I did, it was only for work purposes. Just so I could know people I was writing about, like, become acquainted with their body of work.
Just their body is what I think what it was.
Well, these were actors, they were playing roles. Different directors had different styles.
What does Pimp Daddy say? There's a rabbi, why is this shul yet?
We're not gonna get into the details.
Oh, can I just answer that?
Yeah.
There's a world of difference. Let me just answer that. Because Pimp Daddy brought up a good thing. He said the OU is involved in some Narishkeit with this female rabbi, that it's an OU shul, and blah blah blah. But we need to understand something. And I can answer this because I know for a fact, because I was in it. I worked for OU Kashrus for 8 years. I was a staff member. There is a humongous difference between OU Kashrus, the kosher division of the OU, and all the other parts of the OU, NCSY, and the OU synagogue services, which he's referring to. You can't compare the two. They're under the same OU umbrella, but that's where it stops. It stops at the top. At the top of the OU Kashrus, it's completely divided, and you know it if you walk into the OU building in New York, by the way, because it's all guys with beards and black hats in the OU Kashrus. You go to the rest of it, it's a bunch of guys running around with nickel yarmulkes on top, right? And running around, girls don't have sleeves, whatever, but the secretaries all in the Kashrus are going to have, look sneas, right? It's a different world. One is real yeshivish, real, machpid, and the other side is it's like MO run amok, right? So yeah, there's a lot of shuls out there I would never step foot in, right? That have the OU, and they're problematic, right? But we're not talking about shuls. We're talking about kosher foods, and you got to be separated. They got nothing to do with each other. I know it's hard for people on the outside to understand that, but I was on the inside and I see it, and I know it for a fact.
How do you feel about women teaching Torah to like a mixed male-female audience?
No good.
Like getting up there Shabbos morning.
No, not sneeze.
What's the matter? What if
it's not sneeze.
They're dressed to the nines.
That's not. No.
What if they're ugly?
It's not that how they look not sneeze. It's what their actions are not sneeze. It says we talked about this. I answered before. Why are there women rabbis? Right? Because it says the
honor of the kehillah.
No, the daughter of the Bas Melech Kavoda Panima. The honor of the princess is internal.
So
right.
that means a woman can never lead out and teach Torah to a mixed audience?
She should teach to women. Her place is not to get up on the front of the bima and to start talking in front of the guys. Her place is not to lead davening. That's problematic as well. Her place is to be on the other side of the mechitza like one of the other women. That's it. That's her job. Her job is not to be, it's not to be, that's not a guy thing. It's like guys should not be, running around as midwives, right? That's not our job.
Let me get in there, man.
Well, I know you would probably do it. But our job is not midwives, right? Our job, that's not us. That's a woman thing, okay? And it's not for women to lead congregations. That's not their job.
So how could the traditional Frum Yidden at the Kashrut part of the Orthodox Union associate with the rest of these modern Orthodox type under the same organization?
What's the problem?
Money?
No, what's the problem? What's the shiloh?
Well, it's both OU, so OU funds NCSY, and then which just brings boys and girls together for Jewish
But
events.
it's got nothing to... Look, you're asking a question wrong. You're saying a question of... if you were in charge of the OU, like you were on the board of directors. There's not one guy in it. It's like a board of directors, and there's the regional governors, and it's it's a whole huge organization. It's like the U.S. government. It's got so much bureaucracy, right? And you were on the board of directors, and I said to you, Levi, how can you be on the board of directors, and you've got NCSY, which is like Nagia can save you, right? You got all these people running around on these Shabbatones, right? That's a question. But if they come to you and they say, we want to hire you, and we want to make sure that Hershey's chocolate is 100% kosher, right? And what are you going to do? You're going to say, no, you should send out a guy who's got no Yirah Shamayim? What kind of answer is that? They come to you and they say, here's an opportunity for some real Yirah Shamayim to go there. They're not asking you, to touch a woman. They're not asking